What's up, everybody? You are tuned into Get Well Soon, the red pill content of Welly F, aka Moriarty. Obviously, we are here today to talk about Superman Red Sun. This is a 2020 release. It's adapted from the DC Elseworld graphic novel that I have not read, but I am intrigued now and would like to read it because I'm almost certain that this film did not go as far as they could to adapt the book. I mean, it happens all the time with most novels. It's probably fair to say that this probably could be a 3 or 4 part series if you really wanted to actually get the characters fleshed out. I'm not really here to go into the movie, but I would say my overall synopsis of it is this is a very anti-capitalist film. This is a very pro-feminist film, and I mean, in my opinion, this is like a communist wet dream. To know that there is a version of the Soviet Superman clearly gives you the impression that this movie will take on the ideal that Soviet Superman or even Gulag Superman was in the right. I think one of the overall premises of this film is that people must be allowed to make their own choices. And that's crazy when you think about what we're going through today. And I was really glad that I was able to watch this film and see that because in the end, you definitely realize that no matter what your intentions are, a person's civil liberties really trumps it all. Like, we can argue about this till we turn blue, purple in the face, but the fact of the matter is that was one of the conclusions of this film. People must be allowed to make their own choices. It sucks to say, but I'm sorry if you don't have that type of faith in your fellow man. It is what it is. And just to give a quick rundown of the film, you have a Russian Clark Kent that was obviously born during the Gulag era. His friend, I'm just gonna call her Lana because I don't want to butcher her name, but there is a Russian version of Lana that discovers his powers and encourages him to give his powers to the state, give his abilities to the state. Once again, you would expect that from a woman because that's what women do. Women tend to feel like if they have this power, if they have this person that can protect them, they should submit to the state in order to make the state feel good. The one spoiler I will say is it did not work out in Lana's benefit. And that is what women tend to do. That is what sheep do. Sheep tend to do things that do not work out in their own benefit because they think they're doing something for the greater good, and that's not what happens. So, long story short, after Superman submits to the state in order to basically protect the gulag, he's born with this mindset that basically all capitalism is bad. He eventually runs into Lois Lane, which Lois Lane in this era is married to Lex Luthor. And this version of Lois Lane, I've always felt Lois Lane was a subtle version. Well, she was a subtle character. She was a subtle feminist character because obviously she is this wonderful journalist, world renowned, but it's not shoved down your throat that she's a woman doing this. It's like she's Lois Lane. This is Clark Kent's and Superman's love interest, and yeah, it is what it is. But in this movie, they shove it down your throat. Pretty much every time she comes on the screen, you're reminded that men aren't shit. It's hilarious. And basically every time Clark Kent says anything, you're reminded that Americans aren't shit. And then when Lex Luthor comes on the screen, you kind of get this ego-driven toxic masculinity thing. It's hilarious. If you can get past all that, you should enjoy the film, in my opinion. And like I said, overall, I enjoyed the film. I like DC animated films. This one in particularly, it has an agenda, and the agenda behind this film is to tell you capitalism is bad. Don't underestimate women. All men, everything they contribute to is violent. And you get cameos from Green Lantern, you get a cameo from Wonder Woman, and you get other cameos as well. But the thing about those cameos, in my opinion, they aren't fleshed out enough. And that's not the film's fault, because obviously the film had a certain window of time for them to do what they needed to do, and it is what it is. I'm really not mad at that. That's why I say, if anything, this movie should encourage you to read the book. Once again, people must be allowed to make their own choices. That is the overall theme. You will see parallels to people being mind controlled, and you're going to hear the word propaganda quite a bit. And to me, that is just a perfect parallel to realize that we are living around a bunch of NPC, and that's basically what you saw in this film. We're amongst so many NPC, and they don't even understand why they think the way they think. This movie was just deliberate in showing you why they think the way they think. I think it was well executed for the short runtime that it had. I think still this is a communist feminist wet dream, and I'm very interested in reading the book. I feel like that's all I need to say about this, but you just need to understand that this movie definitely has an agenda, and they execute it in a way that may make your stomach churn, but it is what it is. Either way, check it out. You know how I am, man. Until we meet again.